Hello and welcome to this Cricket Next YouTube live session, and we have some breaking news coming to you, and that is India. India have got their fresh, set of selectors. Now I can't say it is a new chairman of selectors because Chetan Sharma has been retained, while under him there are four new. He has got four new team members in Shiv, Subroto, Banerjee, Salil, and Ankola. These guys would be replacing Harvinder Singh, Sunil Joshi, and Devashish Mohanty as well. And it was a press release that was sent out by BCCI just a few minutes back, and the press release read the Cricket Advisory Committee comprising of Sulakshana Naik, Ashok Malhotra, and Jatin Paranjape undertaken the extensive process of selecting the members of the All India Selection Panel, and upon deliberation and careful consideration, the CAC shortlisted 11 individuals for personal interviews, and based on that, they have cut down on 5 and recommended these names. That is Chetan Sharma, the chairman of selectors, Shiv, Subroto, Banerjee, Salil, Ankola, and Sridharan, Sharath. This was one of the brewing questions that everybody was asking ever since these chairman's the previous selection committee on November 18, 2022, as an aftermath to the India's loss to the in the semi-finals to England. But everybody thought that we could get in. A fresh set of selectors there, a fresh perspective as well. But by the looks of it, it doesn't seem so. I'll bring in Sahil Malhotra now, who's been tracking this development and in fact had written a piece on this very issue where he talked about, the selection committee or the selectors needing that fresh energy there. Sahil, your first thoughts on this development? As I mentioned earlier, Chetan Sharma retaining his position as the chairman of selectors, which comes as a big surprise.
I think Chetan holding on to his position was more or less on the cards now with what we had been tracking in the last few weeks. I think the biggest surprise was not seeing Harvinder Singh there because he was too expected to retain his position. And now it's very clear that they have gone in with Chetan. So I don't know what happened in the January 1 review meeting, but it seems that they were pretty happy with his role as the chairman of selectors. And now it remains to be seen where the problem actually was in the last 2 years, whether it was a support staff, captaincy, coaching. Because with selection, I think it's pretty sorted that they are happy with the direction which was given under Chetan Sharma for the last 2 years, and it is likely to continue now. There are 4 fresh faces getting that fresh energy which we had talked about in the piece extensively last week. But again, it's anybody's guess about what will happen in future. But for now, Chetan Sharma will be your man to lead the side, at least for the 2023 World Cup.
Absolutely, and Chetan Sharma, let's remind our viewers, the chairman of selectors when India, selected the team for the 2021 World Cup, T20 World Cup, and the 2022 T20 World Cup. And Sahil, to your point, look, one of the major issues that everybody was talking about and came to the fore was the selection issue, right? I mean, it came down to the kind of persons you were choosing or not able to, zero down on certain positions and everything. Doesn't the onus really lie on the selector or chairman of selectors for that matter here?
Absolutely, why not? Because selectors are very important piece in that whole puzzle of success for any cricket team, and I think they are probably the ones who will set the foundations for the personnel to follow. Because it's about selecting the right people for the right job. And last 2 years were pretty confusing on that front, maybe because of injuries or the whole captaincy episodes, the way it unfolded. What happens now? Because again, tough calls are the need of the hour when it comes to T20 selection and captaincy. Not to forget, the T20 World Cup is less than a year away now. It starts in 2024. But most importantly, I think the Border Gavaskar Trophy and 2023 50-over World Cup. So 50-over World Cup is a home World Cup. There will be added pressure on the hosts anyway. And the last time India hosted the 50-over World Cup, we actually won the trophy. So there will be a lot of pressure riding on the selectors, the management, everyone involved. And tough calls, clear calls are which are required right now. And I just hope that the new faces which are come in with a fresh mindset. We have, Salil Ankola, who has been doing really well with the Mumbai Cricket Association. The side has kind of found the might of Mumbai, which was missing for a couple of years now. So a lot of things good on that front. Sharath has been doing well in the junior circuit as a selector. SS Das's credentials as a cricketer are not, unknown to many. And he was probably looked at he was being looked at a front runner for the chairman's position too. But then again, with Chetan being the trust being interested in Chetan, I think it was more or less Chetan's game. And that is why the names who were doing round, someone like a Ritendra Singh Sodhi, a Venkatesh Prasad, they were, not considered for these positions.
Absolutely, and as you said, I mean the trust has been entrusted on somebody like a Chetan Sharma, even though he has lost out on his trusted lieutenant, so to speak, from the
Yeah.
last committee. To question to you, I mean, in terms of the energy and in terms of the direction, look, for me, I personally think with Chetan Sharma still at the helm of affairs, the direction may not change much, but then again, doesn't that bring us back to the same question that we are going to be, square one? And you also mentioned in your article the same thing, that if it is the same set of, same direction, if you are taking, there's nothing that will gain out of it. And in your copy, you also mentioned a bit about, how you should treat T20 separately and anything. Do you see any hint of that, with this kind of selection and the kind of persons, as you mentioned about, each of the former players' credentials as well?
Just let's look at it at a very micro level, and let's understand what has happened after the January 1 review meeting. First, they've introduced Dexa and Yo-Yo. So they are looking at workload management, they are addressing the injuries. Next, Hardik Pandya has been leading the T20 side in absence of regular skipper Rohit Sharma. So it's not official yet whether Hardik is going to be your man forward, but it is a very likely and more or less a certain choice now. Not nothing has changed on the selectors front. So chairman is going to be the same person who led you in the last 2 years. So it gives an impression, or probably to the layman, it would give an impression that everything was not that bad on that front. So the people who actually reviewed the performance were actually kind of satisfied with what had happened with regards to selection. Now, again, what had changed was Shikhar Dhawan was dropped from the ODIs, Bhuvneshwar Kumar was dropped from the T20s. So I see some direction on that front, that end of the road for Shikhar probably, and Bhuvi, and a new generation of fast bowlers and openers being tried in the little series which we have seen so far against Sri Lanka. So that is a positive, and that is a sign for me. So that is probably a direction which this selection panel is likely to operate. So these are the little cues which we are getting right now, and probably as soon as more and more games India plays now, they'll play Sri Lanka in the ODIs after the T20 today. So probably we'll get a sense of how they are shaping the ODI unit.
Absolutely, and one of the things also, very prudent to mention here is the fact that, not just the kind of performances that India put under this, the previous chairman, the committee. Other thing was, how the entire Virat Kohli fiasco was, played out, or it was mishandled, or whatever you can say. And there did come a debate where, does the selectors have that, have it in them to take the strong decisions, or it was kind of forced on them. Those kind of questions were also asked. It was came down to stature versus, who has the bigger call, their team management or the stature. I mean, in terms of stature, as you mentioned, I mean, somebody like Shiv Sundar does, you cannot really, disapprove of his, India credentials. Be Chetan Sharma, over 20 test matches, over 100 first class games as well. Now, again, this is a very hypothetical question, and it's something that I would like you to, because you are tracking this. Do will we see more of, those hard decision being, being taken, or those no nonsense stuff being taken more?
It's very 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 important to understand the hard and sensible decisions right now. So Shikhar dropping could be seen as a very hard decision, but again, it was the need of the hour because you wanted intent at top of the order. But why were you waiting for that intent to disappear from Shikhar's armory? Because he was a very successful ODI opener for years now, was probably a captain during bilateral tours last year. So the same selectors were kind of backing him for that role, and he was a certainty. So what changed in one series? I think really hard done with Shikhar on that front, because he was their go-to man when everyone was available was not available for T20s and tests when assignments were going on. But suddenly Shikhar is
Absolutely.
away from the scene. So is Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and right now a lot of clarity is required in the manner with which we deal with the T20s and ODIs, because they are different formats. They require a different set of personnel. So, you just can't have the same set of players playing T20s right now. And you can't really expect someone like a Deepak Hooda to do the job in the ODI cricket right now. Not that he's not a talented player, but just give him a role that, boss, you are going to be our finisher in T20s. Let that boy focus on that game for the next 12 months, because 2024 World Cup and 2023 World Cup are two different formats which need to be looked at differently. That is something which is required, and that is something which the selectors, the BCCI, should look forward to doing.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll end this discussion. As we mentioned at the top of the show, this was a breaking live where the selection, India have found or India have appointed a fresh set of selectors. Chairman of selectors remain Chetan Sharma, and he has under him Shiv Sundar Das from Central Zone, Subroto Banerjee from East, Salil Ankola from West Zone, and Sridharan Sharath. And we'll be hoping that this selection committee does well in the future, not unlike what it had in the previous two reigns. Thank you once again, Sahil, for your insights, and
Thank
thank
you.
you all the viewers for joining in. And again, before I log out, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and please follow us on all our social handles for all the latest updates on cricket. Thank you very much.